For the first time ever, competitors around the world are coming together to build robots, tackle challenges, and use their robotic skills to become the ultimate RoboCo champion. Welcome one and all to the inaugural 2021 FIRST Global RoboCo Challenge. The FIRST Global RoboCo Challenge takes place in RoboCo, a video game developed by Filament Games in collaboration with FIRST Global. In the game, players will build and control robots to conquer challenges inspired by real-world robotics applications. This year's RoboCo Challenge consists of 3 rounds: qualifiers, playoffs, and finals. In each round, teams are tasked with building robots that can complete the objectives and secret objectives for each game board. Performance, budget, and speed are scored by the game itself, and mechanics, innovation, and aesthetics are reviewed by our esteemed panel of judges. Today's broadcast of the qualifying round will cover the best attempts from 37 different international teams, with the top 20 teams advancing to the playoffs. In this round, teams from all over the world were tasked with designing and building a robot that can deliver a sandwich to a table in a crowded restaurant. For this game board, competitors must serve demanding diners while avoiding the wobbly waiter, keeping their costs down and discovering secret objectives along the way.
Hello, my name is Dan Richardson, and I'm a team leader systems engineer for the Walt Disney Company.
And I'm Melissa Smith, a UX research manager for YouTube. We will be guiding you throughout the challenges as we dive into the world of virtual robotics. The components are the same, the physics are real, but the environment is virtual, which allows for quicker iterations and explorations, as well as numerous creative solutions, as we'll see over the course of today's broadcast. First up in the competition is Team Nepal. And we wanted to start out by taking a peek in on the process of constructing a robot inside of RoboCo. We hope to get the audience acquainted with what it takes to make a bot in this virtual world and give more context to the game and what teams accomplished. Okay, Dan, so I'm curious as your thoughts about this. You got to play around in RoboCo a little bit and you have lots of experience building robots in real life. What were your thoughts about building in RoboCo?
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of a CAD type experience, a hybrid between a CAD, traditional CAD, and a simulation environment where you're actually combining the different actuators and gearboxes and the torque and speed components of motors and trying to really emulate what a real world situation would be. It's fun to be able to have all of these real world components at your ready and be able to try to accomplish the tasks that have been laid out in this particular challenge.
I agree. When clicking around, it was really interesting being able to play around with the different dimensions and perspectives, like zooming in, zooming out, being able to add in different types of motors, different types of wheels, different types of gears, and just seeing how the different sensors played all together and do it very quickly in a way that if you were in actually the real world, it might take a lot longer to be able to try out these different components. And I thought that was a really interesting element of this virtual robotics world. So here we're looking at Team Nepal, and their robot is named Kancha, which means younger brother, alluding to the family-oriented cultural restaurant in Nepal.
It looks like they're starting off with one of the secret challenges, doing the chair flip. That was pretty successful. It looked like they have a multi-degree of freedom robotic arm with a gripper at the end. And that next test, they're grabbing the dollar bill. What are they going to do? They're going to smack the waitress with their robotic arm, tip them. I think that's unlocking one of the secret objectives.
And kudos to them for discovering the secret objective of being able to tip the waitress and get extra points. I actually didn't find that out myself when I was doing it. So I'm really impressed that they were able to accomplish that task, as well as, it seems like they're pulling someone across the restaurant. Okay.
Moving them to the right table.
Maybe another task. Oh, wow. They're going to the kitchen.
They're trying to hit them all.
You're getting all of the secret tasks, I guess. This is great. Their end effector is actually quite effective for all of these tasks, I will say. If you were just focusing just on the task of grabbing the sandwich, you might not potentially have considered adding that kind of end effector, but they really leaned in for this task.
And here we go. I think they're lining up for the sandwich. Rushing across the restaurant. Oh, and an elevator all along, raising it up and pushing it out with a linear actuator. It's a pretty high score for Team Nepal.
And they didn't get any penalties, but they definitely got the main objective as well as many sub-objectives, as you can see from the score here.
All right, our next competitor is the Sandwich Master, Team Bosnia and Herzegovina. Let's see what we've got. All right, moving into our competition. Seems like the Sandwich Master, which started with a treadmill system, then transferred to a more efficient rotating block system, is going to start off with some of our secret challenges, pushing our patrons across to the next table.
I love that multiple teams did this. Again, it's not something that's part of the core task, but clearly is a great hidden element for extra points in this game.
Yeah, robots can help us make friends too, and they're doing it today. All right, we're going to move over to delivering the sandwich. The Sandwich Master slowly approaching the table. They get themselves lined up.
Are you going to do it?
I love the profile shot here. See the precision out of this robot and the swipers, no swiping, across the sandwich onto the table. Executing the results. Total score of 11,265. Pretty good score for this round. The Sandwich Master. Moving on to the next one.
Next up, we have Team Ghana with their robot Rami. Team Ghana says that so far this experience has been once in a lifetime. Well, I would agree. This has definitely been the first in my lifetime where I've done something like this. Like, I'm so excited for RoboCo to be here for these teams all around the world in this virtual way.
And I love the size of this robot. It's just a behemoth moving through the restaurant, executing that first task efficiently and clocking in at the quickest score or the quickest time we've seen today.
It literally it was a robot that had one objective and it did it perfectly and very quickly.
Our next team is Team Puerto Rico with Tree Sandwich Delivery. It sounds like a new upcoming service that we could get here. Moving into the RoboCo challenge. All right, right out the gate, the quick sandwich crashing into the table though. See if they can get themselves realigned. And delivering that sandwich again with a speedy delivery.
Now we're up to Team Cambodia with their robot Ramdul. Team Cambodia said that this reminded the team of a flower that represents Cambodia, showing the national heritage and pride. So let's see what Ramdul does for this challenge.
Right out the gate, looks like they're heading for the secret challenge, flipping the chair. See if they can get themselves lined up. Oh,
it made a very well. The height of the robot is perfect for this challenge, but again, it's challenging because this specific challenge requires a certain height of robot, but other challenges might require the robot to be able to be at different heights. So that's already kind of something that they had to take into consideration when they were making this robot.
Yeah, Taylor making some of those mechanisms to optimize the budget and materials used, trying to optimize that score. Looks like they're lining themselves up for that dollar.
Okay, they've got the dollar. Let's see. Are they going to be able to tip the waitress? Seems so. We accomplished at least 2 secret tasks now. Now we're off to at least a third. Cake. Everyone loves cake. Wow, Team Cambodia is on a roll with these secret tasks. Just back to back. They're knocking them out.
It is a lot of fun to make sure, you know, your robot, it's food delivery service, it's a matchmaking service. It's fantastic to see all of the technology going into this system.
Yeah, they are knocking. I think we have counted 4 secret tasks now that they've completed. And now we're going to the primary task, which is the final pièce de résistance, delivering the sandwich. Success. Even balance on the edge of the table. It still counts. Great job, Team Cambodia.
Finishing out with a team total of 11,988. Another high score for Team Cambodia.
And here's a look at the top 5 scorers after our first 5 teams have competed.
Okay, now we're going to be moving on to the team People's Republic of China with their XCY robot. The robot itself is built around the idea of solving all the quests and remaining simple enough to be efficient. Looks like they're starting off with the dollar bill. We're assuming that it's a dollar bill. We're not exactly sure of the currency used in RoboCo. Might be Bitcoin, it might be dollars, who knows. And the waitress hitches a ride, effectively tipping that dollar into the pocket. That was fantastic. And
wow.
Deliver some cake.
The elevator mechanism on this robot is very efficient. It is really allowing them to be at the right height for every task.
Yeah, that's an incredible amount of speed associated with this robot. Maybe sacrificing a little bit of precision, but still able to accomplish the quest. And using the side door, I think that's the first time we've seen to use the side door to exit the restaurant.
Let's see, they're flipping the chair. And I guess as long as it's flipped, it doesn't necessarily need to be still at the table. See, that's another element to this. There's the letter of the rule and then the spirit of the rule. And that's, when you're getting points get scored regardless of, in this case, where the chair ended up at the end of the round.
They're delivering that sandwich. Oh, no, losing the sandwich. They're going to lose a little bit of time on that, but they still have the sandwich in their mechanism. Oh, that last one slide out. So 3 sandwiches, third time's the charm. You know, I also like about this robot, it's the first robot I believe we've seen use gears in their system, which is a pretty cool use of transfer of energy, transfer of mechanics. Coming in with a pretty high score there, 12,849. After seeing the last leaderboard, I believe that will put them on top. So great job, the People's Republic of China.
So next up, we have Team Turkmenistan with TM Robot. And seems like they're going straight for the primary task. Yep, they caught their sandwich, and let's see if they make it.
Swiping it cleanly onto the table. Score of 10,841 with a quick time boost. All right, next up we've got Team Ukraine and their robot Catbot. This robot, according to the team, had to have cat ears, which is a fantastic aesthetic. I think all robots should probably come with cat ears of some sort, somewhere on the system. They're quickly transitioning to the sandwich platform, trying to get themselves lined up, but dodge the waiter. Driving themselves slowly across the diner, raising their elevator and transitioning that sandwich successfully to the table.
Very smooth transition.
It's a very graceful robot. And it looks like they are moving on to some of the secret challenges as well. They're getting some applause. I think that's the first team that we've seen actually complete the main task first and then move on to some of the secrets.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see the characters in the cafe continuing to cheer. This is just one of the other numerous secrets that are built in that allow the game to add some character and fun.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't like applause while they work? It's a fantastic experience for both the drivers and the robots. They had a pretty decent high score there.
Yes, next up we have Team Montenegro with their robot Roki. And Roki's favorite thing to do is take tips and bring them to the waiter with a smiley face. So let's see how Roki does that. Oh, it seems like Roki's Team Montenegro is doing a 2-for-1. So let's see, they caught the dollar or the bill, the currency, they gave it to the waiter after already grabbing the sandwich. Wow, they're doing all the secret tasks with the sandwich on the robot. That is definitely the first time we've seen that.
I like the tip there. It was kind of like a drive-by. They just this like really quick drop in the pocket and went on to the next task. That was pretty successful by them.
I love that they're delivering the pie and the sandwich at the same time. They really are multitasking here with Team Montenegro. So congrats to them for their high score of 13,086.
So our next team up is Team Madagascar and their robot Ravanala. This team said that the current situation in Madagascar with COVID-19 inspired them to build this simulated robot. Food delivery, obviously a primary concern during the pandemic. And the team using that as motivation to create a successful design here, quickly grabbing that sandwich and moving across. That's one of the fastest times we've seen today. 13,163 points, efficiently delivering that sandwich over to the patron.
I almost want to watch that one again. It was so quick, and they had like a small robot in its starting configuration, but then it literally elevated up to be able to catch the sandwich. And then you'll notice it actually starts wobbling a little bit, but then they literally just lower the elevator back down so that they can bring the center of gravity back down to the ground and be able to drive quickly across the restaurant and then deliver the sandwich.
I missed that the first time, but that's a fantastic approach to driving. They had that narrow base, which probably allowed them to accelerate quickly, but had to bring that CG down so they could successfully deliver the sandwich. That's a good catch. And this just in, Ravanala is the national plant of Madagascar, representing the country well with a very high score.
Next up, we have Team Guatemala and their robot, Champarada. And Champarada is the lone survivor of a meteorite that extinguished all other robots. Ooh, very poetic. Let's see how it goes.
I love this one already. This is fantastic. The colors, the tuxedo. This has a fantastic aesthetic. And I believe that's a clock winding mechanism. It's almost like it's a wind-up toy. This is really, truly inspiring here.
I love it. Okay, they completed the tipping of the waitress task, secret task. And they are completing the second one where we're combining the diners, pulling them to a table together.
They're getting cursed out by the waitress. Probably looked like the gripper poked them in the eye.
Let's see.
That's why we wear our safety glasses when we work around robots.
Always wear your safety glasses. Oh, jump cut to secret tasks. So they're completing the very secret tasks over This one is the flipping of the chair. Remember, they just have to flip it over. It doesn't necessarily have to be at the table. Oh, table made it too. Okay.
Oh no.
Now we're in the kitchen. They are completing all the secret tasks. That's the strategy that they are going for.
It does look like they got credit for the secret task associated with the chair flip. We'll have to go back to the scoreboard on that one, but now they're delivering that sandwich across, again, as their last task to the patron here. The diner gets the sandwich. Oh, the sandwich just flipping off the plate.
But they did complete the task, which is, what they asked for. So congrats to Team Guatemala and Champarata for completing the tasks.
Next up, we've got Team Greece with Deuterokomati 2. Let's see what this team can do. A combination of several robots the team experimented with over the last few weeks from several team members is the result of what we're seeing here now. They're going to start off with the sandwich catching mechanism, plate sliding around, and a quick departure. That's a high score.
Definitely. I also love the clever integration of the Greek flag as the base of the table of the robot. Next up, we have Team South Africa with their robot, Ubuntu. Ubuntu is a capacity in South African culture that expresses compassion, reciprocity, dignity, harmony, and humanity. It's good to know the definition of the word Ubuntu. I think a lot of people know it as a programming and computer system now. So
yeah, I was going to say, I was wondering if their robot was operating on Ubuntu, but we're not sure if that's the operating system of RoboCo or not. But right now, it doesn't matter. We get to watch them do their tasks.
Seems like they are going straight for the sandwich task. Some interesting zoomed out perspective here, like drone footage of this.
Trying to get the right angle there. Looks like they're lined up. I like that they have a whole sandwich catching mechanism on the front of the robot, and they drop the floor out. That's great. I love it.
Very unique element to this robot, and they completed the task, so I think that's the best thing about RoboCo. We're going to see a lot of different robots and lots of different mechanisms for completing the same tasks.
Well, our next team up is Team Iraq with their robot Iraq. Looks like we have some sort of elevator on a platform. General four-wheeled robot quickly out the gate, lining themselves up. Oh, it's got a pan tilt mechanism on the platform, giving a slight angle, dodging the waitress and delivering quickly to their diner.
Great job to Team Iraq. They said that it was a very fun experience and a joy to have such an opportunity to use this piece of software. So congrats to them for being able to complete that challenge so quickly. Let's see. So now we have Team Cuba with their Butler Robot 5000. I love the aesthetic of this robot, even before we see it. The bow tie, the mustache. I mean, it definitely looks like a butler, the butler like trope and stereotype. So let's see.
It also looks like the first holonomic type mechanism, omnidirectional robot we've seen.
Yeah, you can see the robot can go straight forward as well as side to side based on the way that they've positioned the wheels on the base. Oh, wow. It actually whipped out the sandwich off the platter and delivered it on the table as any well-trained butler would do. So great job to Team Cuba with their Butler Robot 5000.
I think we need to see that again in slow-mo. That was one of the most unique approaches to that task we've seen so far, not only in the drive system, but in the degrees of freedom in the delivery tray and the arm and the speed in which it executed that delivery. Just snapping right out there, getting aligned, and dropping that sandwich onto the table. Next up, we've got Team Seychelles and their robot, the Stag. Oh, and I love the horns. Look at this thing. It's got eyeballs to boot and it looks almost like a mouth on front.
So you'll notice they're using these clear blocks as an element. And wow, that was so fast. We definitely want to play that one again. But they're using these clear robot elements for their platform and elevator shaft. And that's, again, one of the benefits of virtual robots, because I can't think of many materials you could really do that with in real life, but you can do that in virtual robotics because it allows you to potentially see through and more fine-tune the mechanisms that are being used to make these robots. So great job to Team Seychelles.
Yeah, maybe a polycarbonate or acrylic material for enough structure. If they get it engineered right, it'd be possible to do something like that. But it is really a unique approach to be able to see that delivery process.
Next up, we have Team Australia and their robot all-in-one. Ooh, definitely looks like an interesting, very low center of gravity and configuration. Let's see how they proceed through this.
One of the coolest things about this robot is that it's made from pure Australium, and all-in-one is a true peak performance.
So it seems like they've completed the primary task of delivering the sandwich, and now they're going to continue around and complete the other tasks. It's very clever having the end effector being able to push as well as grab and pick up. As you can see, they are pulling the patrons across the restaurant right now.
All very upset, very angry right now with that.
They were cheering, but now they're upset. So, sometimes these things change rapidly.
I love that this robot is not only just doing the task, but also twirling the chair like a baton. Very effective mechanism.
See if they can grab this cake and bring it to the table for the last secret task. Well, not the last. Oh no, they still have to tip the waiter. Okay.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the waiter's actually not moving now. The disappointed waiter, sort of finally throwing their hands in the air, but still getting tipped. A little bit more effective than trying to have to align or catch up with the waitress.
I love that we're seeing like the best of from this run, but definitely a great run here. I think this is definitely one of the top score that we've seen so far today. So good job to Team Australia with all-in-one.
Next up, we have Team Zimbabwe and their robot, Lisa Witch. This robot's named after the Team Zimbabwe captain, Lisa, who's so passionate about being a chef and currently going to culinary school. And I love that it has the little culinary hat associated, little chef hat on the back side of the robot, just plowing through the diner, trying to deliver the sandwich to our diner here with a quick score.
Excellent work by Team Zimbabwe here. Again, we're seeing a few categories of robots, and this is the one that just is kind of very tall, very flat at the top, very efficient for just getting the sandwich to the table, which is the main task that these teams were asked to do. So next up, we have Team Belize with their robot, Little Rambo, which is named after the legend Robot Rambo, who was the pinnacle of efficiency and perseverance. So let's see how Little Rambo does. Seems like they're going straight for the chair flipping secret task.
Oh, wow. What an efficient chair flip mechanism. Just right over the top. That's the first time we've seen a team try to go in that orientation versus a rotational motion.
Yeah. And that arm length that they've calibrated really worked for, being able to grab the chair efficiently off the table, as well as grab that currency bill straight off the table as well. Now they just have to get it into the waiter's pocket.
The waitress looking like they're trying to repay the favor here, getting caught up in the mechanism. Is it a waitress or a waiter? I keep saying.
Gender. Wait staff.
Just grab the whole tray of cakes, they say. Just extra bonus cake for everyone.
Again, the task says to bring a piece of cake to the table. As long as they bring it, again, that mechanism almost made it easier picking it up off the ground than picking it off the tray on the table. So,
and just I really feel for the waiter in this one. The amount of abuse they have taken during this round, but I mean, efficiently going about the tasks.
And now we have the tray at the perfect height to be able to catch that sandwich and now drop it off at the table.
All right,
Belize. Little Rambo, it definitely was interesting display of efficiency and perseverance. Well, maybe perseverance.
I didn't even notice that before. They grabbed the cake off the ground. Wow, incredible.
Great job to Team Belize and Little Rambo.
Yeah, the pinnacle of perseverance and mostly of efficiency too. It was a very fantastic round by Team Belize. Next up is our Team Guyana and their robot, Team Guyana.
They said that the team designed each part separately over team calls and assembled the robot using various parts. So let's see how it does.
Looks like they've quickly acquired the sandwich. I see 2 linear actuators in the back, so I'm curious about these are going to work in tandem. Okay, we've got a bit of an elevator configuration, and it looks like a delivery profile and a delivery platform and profile here with a gripper. It's getting themselves lined up. Oh, and missing the execution behind the chair, but they do successfully deliver that sandwich upright on the plate. So that's that main task.
I love that the cafe people are cheering for them because they've now completed the main task, but they're now completing some of the other secondary secret tasks. So they just moved the patrons to the same table, and now they're grabbing some cake to bring. Let's see if they can successfully complete this task.
Yeah, there's almost a strategic advantage here. When the crowd is applauding for you, they stop motion, so you're no longer running into that waiter as they're moving across the cafe. So it can really help with their time and navigating through that space.
Oof.
Oh, just missing the cake. The cake in this case was a lie. See if they can get it on this next face.
I love this. Just take the entire tray.
I'm waiting for a team to do it. Just said, you wanted cake, here's the whole tray. I pinch, I miss. Adjusting the tray to try to, I think they're strategically trying to bring the tray closer to grab the cake. Precariously balanced cake here on the tip of that gripper, and they're losing it. Oh no. Team Guyana, try again. Moving on to their next task.
See, they're cleaning the dishes. Again, the robot end effector is very, very well positioned using that elevator to be able to adjust for different heights of different tasks.
We commented about this earlier, but with the crowd applauding, it's a little bit easier to bring that dollar bill to the wait staff. And there they go, executing that final task with a score of 11,794.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the longer runs, but they were able to accomplish a lot of things that they wanted to, as well as the secret tasks. So
yeah, we saw some tremendous scores. That last team, Guyana, getting placed 11th there, still in that top 20 leaderboard position, but we've got a number of teams to go throughout the broadcast.
Next up, we have Team Hope, which is FIRST Global's team of refugee students, and their robot, RoboG, whose name stands for Robot Refugee, which is the world's first mascot of hope for the refugee community. So let's see how RoboG does in this challenge.
It's the first elevator we've seen actually go up and try to accelerate the delivery of the sandwich. Usually you have to wait for gravity, but if you're catching at a higher point, you can get it quicker and save some time. That's a strategy I hadn't considered in some of my speed runs for sure.
I also really love the aesthetic of the robot because, again, they have they're channeling the classic butler vibe with the mustache and the top hat. So,
yes, it certainly plays into the robot-human interaction. You feel like you can trust the robotic system a little bit more for sure. This team is also very quickly executing these tasks. This chair flip and other secret tasks are going very quickly.
Again, noting that the raising of the entire platform does change the center of gravity of the robot, but they have it that it's such a wide base and also a wide platform that it feels like it kind of keeps it balanced in a way. It's a really clever way of designing this robot to have an elevator but still feel balanced.
I love that when we're watching it wash the plates, it's obviously got some sort of wrist mechanism. And then you can see the teleoperator had a little bit of trouble just in that moment. They were spraying it all over the room and then try to get it reoriented to the plate. This is one of the, sometimes the tricks with having lots of degrees of freedom on a robot is making it difficult to control, but they were able to get there. And I think this has got to be one of the highest scores we've seen throughout this broadcast. So great job to Team Hope. All right, our next team up is Team Netherlands with their robot IRAM, which is Impossible Robotics Affordable Model Series 2. This team, with a name like IRAM, I expect it to be aggressive, but let's see how graceful they can be in this run. Quickly and efficiently grabbing that sandwich at the top of the drop, driving across to the diner and grabbing it. Looks like they're going to also try to go for one of the secret challenges, pushing the diner across the room.
Did it quite gracefully, I would say. Great job to Team Netherlands. Next up, we have Team Tunisia with their robot Escanor, which is part humanoid beast, part machine.
I love the description. Part humanoid beast.
Let's see how Team Tunisia fares with this one. Oof. Just barely getting by that bumbling wait person.
Oh, and again, another mechanism to drop the table out and drop it efficiently onto the booth.
Very clever design there with splitting the surface. I think we've seen a lot of stable surfaces that then get things pushed off of it. But the fact that this one, the surface actually splits in half and drops it down, that's the first time we've seen that. So good job to Team Tunisia.
All right, our next one is Team Burkina Faso and their Deliverobot.
Deli robot?
Deliverobot?
Deli robot?
Deli robot. There we go. This is created by a boy who wanted to help his parents with their restaurant. I don't know if that's a mythical child in the robot world of RoboCo or a real child who wants to build a prototype, but I can say for sure that it is efficiently delivering that sandwich.
Wow.
That was one of the fastest runs we've seen so far.
Next up, we have Team Chile with their Mizerobot. Fun fact, Mizero stands for waiter in Spanish. So let's see how this goes, Team Chile. This robot has 6 wheels, so it can remain wide awake for longer and turn more efficiently. So let's see if they were able to pull it off.
I love the aesthetic of this robot. It almost looks like the entire top of the robot is actually being supported by that chef hat. But I think there's a clear block on the back side to help see through that section.
Speaking of which, one of the components or some of the components that teams are able to use with these robots were weighted blocks. So it seems like they have a few weighted blocks on the bottom of this robot to help keep it stable and keep the center of gravity a little bit lower. So as it's going up here to pick up different tasks and complete different tasks, it won't tip over.
And industrial robotics, that is a major consideration for many robots designed, keeping your center of gravity low so you can efficiently and safely operate within different industrial and consumer applications.
Very efficient completion of these secret tasks by Team Chile here. Let's see what's next. So they already tipped the wait person, they cleaned the dishes, they flipped the chair. Now we're going for the cake. Or they still have to grab the sandwich. Oh, it seems like they're going to do that at the same time.
And the sandwich at the same time, again, with the efficiency. Drop the cake and line themselves up for the sandwich. Just waiting for it to slide off. Let's see if they can keep the sandwich on the plate.
Ooh, good job. Very smooth delivery. I love how they were tilting and they just shifted back right when it was falling so that gravity could help them with the placement there.
Getting that angle perfect. Any more, I think that sandwich is coming off the plate and you have a disappointed customer.
And now here we have our top 20 leaderboard, and Chile right there, zooming in right at the top.
All right, our next team is Team Vietnam and their robot banh mi. Looks like we've got another tabletop type mechanism with a few actuators. Let's see how this robot operates. A little bit of a higher center of gravity on this robot. You see some tipping, but it is quite speedy, getting themselves lined up with the table and using the linear actuator to deploy quickly. It looked like some form of telescopic actuator, actually, to deploy that sandwich to the patron. Great job, Team Vietnam.
Next up, we have Team Singapore with their robot Average Andy, which is a simple robot which was multifaceted yet cost efficient. So let's see how Average Andy does in this task. A really interesting use of this arm element. It's like they have a tabletop double faceted arm that goes up and down. I think that's the first we've seen quite like this, which is really interesting.
Yeah, it looks like a 4-bar mechanism that runs the entire length of the arm. What's interesting about a 4-bar mechanism is that it can actually keep the manipulator parallel or perpendicular depending on the orientation of the arm to the robot at all times. So they don't have to have a wrist actuator to get themselves at the right angle to pick up some of these elements.
It also allows for them to be able to reach really high, as you can see right there with the dishwashing task. They were able to very efficiently finish that task quickly because they were above the dishes as opposed to going parallel or even from slightly below it.
There we go. With the chair quickly. They do have a wrist mechanism, it looks like, actually to rotate that chair over and across, keeping it well balanced. And like you mentioned, being able to reach up high. Oh, they spilled a sandwich, but they were quick on the delivery. So their time is probably a good score here, and they've got a decent score of 13,340.
Great job, Team Singapore.
All right, our next team is Team Ecuador with ECU2. This robot appears to have a bit of a tabletop mechanism, and this team's first time designing robots digitally, or this was the team's first time designing robots digitally, and they've been enjoying the entire experience. They've got that tabletop and then moving it across with that linear actuator, getting an efficient high score of 12,080.
Next up, we have Team Sao Tome and Principe with their robot Stp Chef. And Stp Chef is a robot capable of delivering food. Let's see how this robot delivers food.
Oh, it's green. Very green. Love green technology and green robots, all the better. Quick with the delivery and execution. Wow. All right, our next team up is Team Slovenia, and their robot, which translates in English to the bumblebee, represents hard work.
The yellow and black aesthetic does channel Bumblebee, so great naming on the part of Team Slovenia.
Yeah, and Bumblebee the Transformer could only wish to be as efficient as this robot. They're getting themselves lined up and pushing the patron across the next table, completing one of our secret tasks. Oh, just bumping the table, knocking over the coffee, but they don't look like they mind too much.
I love that they were able to turn their platform almost into like a ramming mechanism, but like, gentle ramming to push the people across.
Yes. People delivery, food delivery, it does it all. There's also a pretty efficient mechanism for, oh my goodness, it's transforming all over the place. So the degrees of freedom of this is really impressive. And quite stable too in its manipulation. It must be using some of those heavy blocks to keep themselves with the low CG so they can manipulate and move that drivetrain without tipping.
Yeah, very efficient driving on the part of the controllers for being able to use both sides of the platform, which of course has an end effector at the end depending on the task that they're trying to accomplish at the moment. So great work.
Delivering the dollar or the currency of RoboCo to the waiter, getting the secret test, getting the cake and the sandwich, lining themselves up for this table. They've got themselves extended. See if they can release both the sandwich and the cake at the same time. Dropping the cake. And the bottom sliding out again to deliver the sandwich, seeing if they can keep it on top. They do, but now they need to release it completely, and that completes the task. Great job, Team Slovenia, 13,403 points. That's still got to be in some of the tops of our leaderboard.
Yeah, great job. And it definitely, represented hard work, and I think they definitely pulled that off. And here we have our top 20 leaderboard.
Yeah, with Slovenia sneaking in a top 5 run there. Great job to these teams.
Next up, we have Team Indonesia with their robot, the R2045. Their goal was to create the cheapest and quickest robot. So let's see how they do this. This is a very thin robot.
Can't tell if they have a double stack wheel there in the back. Oh my goodness, that was so quick. We're going to need to see this in replay on that one. Incredibly efficient use of that tricycle design.
What? They literally had a ram at the bottom to just literally hit the wall and just have the sandwich fly off thanks to Newton's third law of motion.
Our next team is Team Poland and their robot, the Exterminator. This robot, Exterminator, resembles a hero wearing a cape, and he never escapes problems. He always will help you. So this is an exciting. I'm excited for this one. I love that it's got that sort of two-wheeled base, and it's just quickly using. Oh my word! Okay, so it uses the pivot point of the two wheels to actually transfer that plate. That slight tip allows it to slide off the front cones and into the table.
Typically, this type of design would be really difficult to balance, but they actually leaned into that, pun intended. Next up, we have Team Syria with their robot Ashi, and Ashi is a name in the Syrian dialect, which means the one who prepares the food table.
Love the conductor hat immediately. Just love the robot vibe here.
Another efficient run, and the robot is the one who prepared the food table in this case, so they were able to pull that off, and again, time was in their favor and really gave them a big score boost with that one.
And we've seen a lot of success out of some of these sandwich delivery with some quick times for delivery. Our next one up, we'll see how they do, is Team Venezuela with their robot Sebastian. Now, Team Venezuela was inspired by the automated robots used in production lines. So let's see how this simulated robot mimics the success of those robots in production lines. Going for that chair, gripping air, but I guess they're just the side, their mechanism got in there and they flipped that table. Flip the chair, not the table.
Oh, wow. It seems like they have two wheels on the front and back that allow them to have like a lateral motion. So not quite fully omni, but definitely able to go, side to side as well as front to back easily. So great work there. Great design.
Delivering the tip to the waitress. Now going for some cake. They've already got their sandwich. This is a pretty efficient pathing by this robot. And again, grabbing the sandwich just on the edge, probably that last pixel of that object. Going to deliver it over to the customer, dropping it on the table, turning to the side, and strafing into position. Wow, quick and efficient move by Team Venezuela.
Seems like they're going to go for the last secret task. Or another secret task, rather, which is pulling the people to the same table. And then let's clean some dishes.
A hard day's work. You got to clean up when you're done. And let's see if they cleaned up on the scoreboard as well. We got an instant replay. This was a pretty efficient maneuver of grabbing the sandwich and delivering the tip at the same time. That really efficient move, I think, is going to give them quite a high score, and it does. 13,750 points for Team Venezuela and their robot Sebastian, moving them up the leaderboard. All right, next up we've got Team Palestine and their Robo Grandeur. Another butler-looking robot. It's got a human aesthetic to it, a right arm, but this one's left-handed. Sliding that sandwich efficiently onto the table. Patrons are going wild, but they're going to enjoy being with their friends over, well, maybe not in their chair, but they still complete the task. Quickly and efficiently delivering the cake over to the table and now washing some dishes. Robo Grandeur is on a mission. This robot was rebuilt from the abandoned wasteland, which is really just an incredible feat to think about. Recycled parts, green and efficient, and efficiently performing its tasks here in the diner.
Seems like they're going for all the secret tasks and this chair flipping mechanism.
Look at that, just quickly up and over the telescopic mechanism there, delivering that table. The waiter has somehow joined the robot outside the restaurant. We haven't seen this today, but it is just going wild. They get the score for the chair flip and they complete the task despite the waitress. Maybe she just wanted to say thank you for that. She blasts through the plants, through the glass, and heads over to take on Robo Grandeur. But despite that chaos, 14,372 points. That was just an incredible ending to that match.
That was awesome. I also love the flashing lights on the shoulder. Just adding that little, that little chef's kiss on top of this beautiful run by Team Palestine. Next up, we have Team Sri Lanka with their robot, Steampunk. For the robot, they took a modular approach to solving the task. So let's see how Team Sri Lanka and their robot, Steampunk, fare out with these tasks.
This is cool. I don't know that we've seen this laser mechanism on the front to help them with their aim.
No, I don't think we have. You also see there's a light that lights up. I'm not sure if that is when the laser encounters something or, wow, very efficient pathing through this course. If you saw, they literally just pushed the person over to the table and then quickly went and grabbed the sandwich and the cake. So accomplishing a lot of the secret tasks while also already completing the primary task.
I do love that they have the light operating when different mechanisms are turning on and off, giving them some indicator of what they're doing with the system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the light turns on when I guess the end effector, or I guess it goes on for multiple things. It seems like when the laser encounters something, when the end effector grabs something. So definitely efficient building by Team Sri Lanka and Steampunk. And wow, I think this is our newest high score so far. First one we've seen over 15,000. So great job to Team Sri Lanka.
And doing very well in the judged categories as well. So just an overall high score by this team. Well, coming up with our last team, we've got Team Algeria and their robot Ruby. This will be our last team of the broadcast. This robot is made from recycled parts, and Ruby is the star of the kitchen. And this is the symbol of happiness in every room that she enters.
I admire the green and white apron waiter aesthetic.
It's almost got a Jetsons vibe to it. I love it. Like a Rosie the Robot look. Delivering the sandwich, grabbing the customer and moving them over to their friend at the adjacent table.
I also like the anthropomorphization of the robot, having the eyes that actually move as it's doing different tasks. Kind of humanizes the robot.
Definitely the star of the kitchen, like they suggest. Getting those plates cleaned off, and let's see what they head to next. Looks like for another secret task.
It's so interesting because the way that they have it set up with like the platform on the right side and then the end effector on the left side, your mind just makes you think it's human. It looks human because it has like the upright, like the two hands doing tasks. It's a very humanoid robot. So good job to Team Algeria for this aesthetic.
It does, and it has a very human proportion arm segment set up too, an upper and lower arm with a arm rotate or wrist rotate and the claw. Very anthropomorphic, like you mentioned.
I love seeing this replay of highlights from this run. I wish I could flip chairs one-handed. I'm very impressed with this robot.
Yeah. Great job, the Team Algeria. And I think this is actually our highest score.
It is.
Yeah, 15,327 for Team Algeria. So then we're going to take that score over to the final leaderboard so we can identify our top 20. And there we have it, Algeria actually taking the #1 spot with that final run of the broadcast. Tremendous job to Team Algeria and all of our top qualifiers, as well as all of our competitors in this competition, this first round.
Yeah, as we saw, Dan, there were so many different types of robots and so many different ways of accomplishing the tasks. And it was a great effort by literally all the teams, and just super excited to see what these teams can bring us the next round, and even what all the teams who participated will do in the years to come with their robotics.
Congratulations to all of our teams, and a heartfelt thank you to all our competitors for participating in the 2021 FIRST Global RoboCo Challenge, brought to you by FIRST Global and Filament Games. The next round of our challenge starts the 22nd of November, so keep your eyes on your inbox for that next game board. Until then, tune in next time for more challenging obstacles, more ingenious robots, and more FIRST Global RoboCo Challenge.